Good morning, everybody, and welcome into this Thursday morning episode of the Swank Tank, episode 4 of the 2025 NFL season. Incredible that we're already on episode 4, and even more incredible that the NFL season is 1 week from today. That is right. Thursday Night Football, 7 days from now. Cowboys, Eagles in Philly. On Thursday Night Football to kick off the season. We will talk about that betting line later towards the end of the show. We made it, ladies and gentlemen. We did it. We survived the offseason. It was one full of interesting trades, cuts, draft additions, the whole works. It was a great offseason, but I don't know about you, and I'm sure that you relate, but I'm glad the offseason is over. We are here. We have made it. We are 1 week out. So happy you could be joining me on this Thursday morning. Could be Thursday afternoon by the time you're listening. Even be Friday. Whenever you are listening or watching to this, I really appreciate you tuning in. And this is your first time here with us at the Swank Tank. We are NFL only. That is our niche. We talk NFL, but we talk about everything NFL. Analysis, takes, bets, previews, trades. I mean, you name it. Fantasy, everything, all of the above. NFL, we're talking about it, and we're so happy that you're with us this morning or this afternoon, whenever and wherever you are watching or listening. So really appreciate everybody being here, and please go follow the socials, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, anywhere you can get a podcast or watch a show. Please go like and subscribe. Really appreciate all the support I've been getting already through these first 2 weeks, and we are just getting started. 7 days from now, of course, the NFL season starts. But we're getting started. We already got started, and we're continuing to level up as the season progresses. So appreciate all the support. Really appreciate y'all being here. And to preview today's episode, what do we got lined up today, Ryan? We're 7 days out. What are we going to talk about on the Swank Tank? Number one, we are grading the big-time transactions that have happened this week. We're talking Terry McLaurin. We're talking Amari Cooper. We're talking way more because we've had some big-time news break over the past few days. I'll be giving you my letter grade for those trades, those news, and those transactions as well. Along with that, I am giving you my power rankings, 32 through 1, how I rank the teams going into the season and how I maybe even think they will finish the season. But mainly starting and going into week 1, I'm giving you my power rankings from all the way to the worst team to the best team in the NFL. We kick off the first segment of the show this morning by going over to the Eastern United States in Washington, D.C. The Washington Commanders have extended their franchise, star-studded, slept on, in my opinion, wide receiver Terry McLaurin. He gets his deal, 3 years, $96 million with $30 million signing bonus. I mean, what an extension and what a deal for Terry McLaurin. This puts Scary Terry as the number 6th most paid wide receiver in the NFL based off annual value. $96 million for 3 years. In your opinion, is Terry McLaurin worth that money? In your opinion, is Terry McLaurin worth getting paid the 6th most in the NFL of any wide receiver? 6th highest paid in the NFL, has had not 1, not 2, not 3, and I'm not done at 4, but 5 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Had a lot of touchdowns last year. I believe this was his first year in double digits with touchdowns. Obviously, Jaden Daniels having the phenomenal rookie year he had. Scary Terry gets his bag. What do I grade this on a letter grade? I give it an A-. Well, Swank, why wouldn't it be an A+? This is their franchise guy. He's been there for so many years now. He's been through the thick and thin, and he's finally seen the benefits, some rewards out of this. The Commanders can make a deep playoff run. Heck, they can go to the Super Bowl. They made the NFC Championship last year. Can they take that step? I give it an A-, not an A or an A+, because while I think Terry McLaurin is a phenomenal player, and while I think Terry McLaurin is a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL, paying Terry 6th most in the NFL, to me, is just a little much. Just a little much. That's all. That's all there is to it. Both sides here obviously win. The Commanders lock up their franchise guy for another 3 years. Gets paid majoritively, deservingly so. That's why I got to give an A minus though. Is strictly because $32 million a year. It's a lot. It's a lot of moolah. It's a lot of moolah, and getting paid sixth most. I think Terry should be around the 8 to 10 range, kind of around the Nico Collins range, which, by the way, separate topic, is a steal of a contract. Terry deserves a great deal. Terry deserves everything that comes his way, hopefully this year, next year, and moving forward. Maybe that includes a Super Bowl ring from what he's been through with this Commanders team over the previous 5-6 years. I give it an A minus because it is putting him as the sixth highest paid NFL receiver. For me, it's just a tad much. Not saying it's undeserved, just saying it's a tad much. That's all. I give it an A minus. Congrats to Terry. Congrats to the Commanders. They are a fun team to watch this year. They bring in Tunsil. They bring in Samuel. They re-sign McLaurin. Daniels in year 2. Bobby Wagner's still over there on the defense. It is going to be a sight to watch. And they can win the NFC 100% this year. They just got to put all the pieces together. So, by keeping Terry there, that's, if not your biggest piece, one of them. Kudos to the Commanders and getting that job done before the season starts. Number 2, big note here. Joe Mixon. What is going on? I'm wearing the t-shirt. I'm wearing the Houston t-shirt. We're going to talk about that here in a sec. What is going on in Houston with Joe Mixon? Fantasy managers are freaking out, myself included. I already drafted him in one of my leagues. Don't freak out too much. I think the media likes to push agendas like this a lot because it's still, quote, the offseason. We got 7 days left, right, until the regular season begins. D'Amico Ryans himself yesterday morning, touched on a little bit of displeasure with media outlets producing stories and not having any repercussions if those stories were to come out and be false. That's not fully true. But he was referencing the C.J. Gardner-Johnson injury, where reporters were saying it was gruesome and bad and that he could be out the whole year, only to find out that C.J. is only probably out a week or 2 left, maybe? He may play week 1. That's more what he was referencing. So when he gets asked about these injuries, it's a little bit of a sore subject at the moment for the Houston Texans. That being said, Joe Mixon put on the NFI list to start the year, non-football injury, and he's out the first 4 games, minimum. There's people saying he's going to miss the entire season. There's people saying, relax, pump the brakes. He's only going to miss the first 4 games. I'm leaning more towards the camp of he's only going to miss the first 4 games. Could that bleed over to 5 or 6? Maybe. I think we see Joe Mixon this year at some point. What does this mean fantasy-wise? You look at the Texans. They got Dameon Pierce, who has shown flashes when given opportunities. They have Derek Ngumbawale, really more for a special teams pass catching back. You got Nick Chubb, right? That's the household name. And you got Woody Marks, rookie running back out of USC. Nick Chubb's going to be added in a lot of fantasy drafts. He's going to be going a lot earlier than what his recent ADP was. And he's going to be flying off the shelf, basically, when it comes to later round running backs at this point now, given the news of Mixon maybe missing the whole year. Personally, I say pump the brakes a little bit on drafting Nick Chubb way earlier now than what he was previously going for before the Mixon injury news fully came out. This is going to be a running back by committee approach, in my personal opinion. Woody Marks is going to be the pass-catching back. I expect him to play around 40% of the snaps from the get-go week 1. I'm worried a little bit about Chubb holding up and Chubb with his speed. I've heard a lot of things out of camp that he's slow. And granted, he's been in this league already a solid while. He's had multiple injuries. He's going to be a little slow. Week 1's going to be a huge tell if Chubb's got it or not. If he's still got that pop and you see the explosiveness, I could be very much wrong. But if you could see a little bit of slowness in him, you could see a little fatigue in him, I expect Woody Marks and Dameon Pierce both to be cycled in a lot. So while drafting Chubb, I think, is a good strategy, don't get too high on him and go reach on him too early. That is my advice for you. But Joe Mixon out the first 4 weeks of the NFL season. Could be longer, could not be longer. Who knows? Big story out of Houston there. Moving on. Amari Cooper back to the Raiders on a 1-year deal, I believe. Big name here, but not a really big move in my personal opinion. Cooper last year really struggled. Had a down year, only played in 8 games, 2 touchdowns, and had under 300 yards. I'm giving this signing a B-. There's really not much to it. It's more for depth. Jacoby Myers, who we'll talk about here in a few minutes as well, request a trade. This signing came right after that news was released. This isn't a splash. Big name a few years ago would have been a big deal. Cooper to me is really just more of a depth piece, maybe like a wide receiver 3/4, and maybe he's got a little bit of juice left in the tank. But based off last year, this move is not huge for me. I give it a B-. There's really not much to it besides the name and returning home to, which should have been Oakland, but is now Vegas, the Raiders, and Coop's back home. That's about it. I give it a B-. Nothing crazy here. The big one. Here we go. Trey Hendrickson, Bengals defensive end. He gets a deal done. What does this deal include? How much money is it? How many years? 1 year. And it's not even, it is a deal. It's a raise is what Hendrickson gets. 1 year raise, so $30 million total to play for the Bengals this season. You're giving him $30 million now this year on a 1 year extension, basically. Really, it's really a raise because he was already supposed to play for you this year. Gets the raise up to $30 million. Believes he was at 16 before that for what would have been this coming season. And if tagged next season, that would go to $35 million. I'm confused personally on why the Bengals, given the time they had, didn't get the longer term extension done. Obviously, if they didn't sign him earlier, that means there is a little bit of reluctancy, a little bit of hesitance there in signing him to a long-term deal. Back-to-back years of 17 sacks, I believe, for Hendrickson. He's been a top 3, top 5 defensive end the past 2 years for you. That offense is already loaded. Go extend your guy. 1 year raise is great, and I know you think you're making a Super Bowl run this year. Can the defense hold up is the big question. Extend him. Extend him for more years than just giving him a 1 year raise. If you tag him next year at $35 million, he may walk. There's a chance he walks come the offseason. Maybe middle of the season, they extend him. Right after the season ends, they extend him. That's a possibility here. If I'm the Bengals, I extend my defensive franchise player. The biggest question mark for you this year is, what can we do on defense? Can we be consistent enough? I trust Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Joe Burrow and Chase Brown and all these other players, Gesicki, to go and get their own and do their thing on offense. Can the defensive side of the ball hold up enough for you to continue to win and elevate in a very busy and a very challenging AFC North division with a Ravens team is going to make the playoffs and make a run, with the Browns not being good, but the Steelers are going to be 500 every single year no matter what. That is always a tough division. Always, always. I give this signing a B+, because while it's short-term great, long-term, it's not what I believe the Bengals should be doing. Again, there seems to be some reluctancy there. That's obviously something out of my hands, something I'm not fully sure of. But if there wasn't any reluctancy, I think a major deal would have been done here. So if I'm the Bengals, keep your franchise defensive end as long as you can and give him what he wants. Your biggest need is defense. You don't got to worry about the offense right now. Your weapons are loaded. Maybe the O-line could be a slight question mark. Focus on the defense. And extend them longer. Personal opinion. So I'll give it a B+ because it's a short-term answer. They have him back for the season. He's on his raise. They can tag him next year if they really want to for $35 million. If I'm the Bengals and you start strong and Hendrickson starts strong, I extend him midseason, personally. So I give this a B+. That is why, because I believe he should have been extended further than just given a raise for this year. Moving on to the NFC, Adam Thielen back to the Vikings yesterday. Carolina will receive a 2026 fifth and a 2027 fourth, while Minnesota receives Adam Thielen, a 2026 conditional 7th rounder, and a 2027 5th round pick. So I like this move a lot for Minnesota. I grade this a flat-out A. Veteran back in Minnesota, I believe went to high school there, went to college there, works out there every summer, has already worked out, I believe, back-to-back summers now with J.J. McCarthy. He wanted to go home. He expressed that. Thielen back in Minnesota and Amari Cooper back with the Raiders. What year is it? What is happening here? I give this a flat-out A because Thielen brings a veteran presence to that locker room. While, guys like Addison are out and other figures like that, Thielen can step up and play a good role here. He's already got experience in the offseason training with McCarthy. He's got the Minnesota ties. It's a great move for me on both fronts. Carolina, you get a fifth and a fourth, which I think is good. A fourth rounder there, really. Fourth Ewan, I think, is very solid for a player of his age and for what he can produce. But last season, 10 games, 5 touchdowns, 615 yards. I mean, he's just solid. He's reliable when he's on the field. And for Minnesota, especially through the first 3 games, that's what they need is somebody reliable. So he'll make an impact, especially throughout the early parts of the season. Flat out A for me and Adam Thielen back to Minnesota. I like this move a lot. Love Thielen as a player. He seems like a great guy. And expect him to produce pretty solidly and help out this Minnesota team, help J.J. McCarthy get his feet underneath him with a solid target in Adam Thielen throughout the first few weeks. I think it's going to be very beneficial. I like Thielen a lot back to Minnesota. I give it an A. Last big news here that I'm going to mention, Jakobi Meyers, Raiders wide receiver, request a trade. I'm giving this an A+. Swank, why would you be giving a guy an A+ grade for asking for a trade? I think Jakobi Meyers deserves better. I'm going to be flat out honest. This is one of my favorite slept-on players in the NFL. He's getting paid $10.5 million this year. I think he deserves way more. Had over 1,000 yards last season, has had over 800 yards in the past 4 seasons consistently. So dating back 4 years, he's had 800 yards every single season. And had over 1,000 last year with a very bad Raiders team and quarterback situation. I don't blame Jakobi Meyers. Obviously, he wants an extension before he wants to be traded, it seems. He just wants more money. And I think it's deserving. Give him a little raise. Give him a little $4 or $5 million raise and say, you have another good year, we'll extend you. This is his last year of his deal with the Raiders. He's got no guaranteed money this year. It's all gone. I can't blame him for wanting to lock up a new deal or find a new home, given the production he's had over the past few seasons. He just wants the security, and I can't blame him. So Jakobi Meyers, to me, I think he deserves more money. If not, I think he deserves to find a new home. So the production's been there. He's been consistent. I like Jakobi Meyers a lot. I think he's very talented, and I think, he could very much be finding a new home. I think this kind of gets worked out as the season progresses, but I don't really see him leaving. But if you were to leave, I would think it's a great move. It's a great move for whoever team would go get him. If I'm the Raiders, I add a few more $1 million to his contract this year, and he figured this one out in the offseason. So those are some big-time signings, some big-time moves that's happened over the past few days. Again, we're just 7 days away from NFL kickoff. I cannot wait. Those are some big-time moves that have went down. Those are my grades on those moves. Let me know what you think in the comments on social media, wherever you want to comment, Spotify, YouTube. Would love to hear your feedback. And we're so close. We are so close. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to show your fandom. This is something fun we're doing before the start of the season. If you're watching live, I'm wearing my Houston Texans kind of, not vintage is not the right word, but kind of graphic t-shirt. It's got a skeleton guy with Stroud riding a bull. I mean, I love this shirt. It's awesome. It's like, I think it's called Dead Threads. Shout out Dead Threads. No free ads, sorry. But Dead Threads is awesome. Wearing my Houston shirt. Big time Houston Texans fan. Born and raised in Houston. Family's had season tickets since day one in 2002. That being said, I am willing to wear any team's NFL shirt for the opening episode of this season. So here's what's going down. We're officially 1 week away from the NFL season, and I want everybody to show their support for their team. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to clip this video, and I'm going to comment individually all 32 NFL teams underneath this video in the comment section. I want you, as an NFL fan, I'm sure, to go and like whatever comment your team is. I want to see who's backing what team this year. I want to see which team is getting the most likes. I want also you to claim your fandom before the season starts. We don't accept bandwagons here. Not at the Swank Tank. No. No bandwagons. You call your team, you call your shots before the season starts. So while I'm wearing this Houston graphic tee, whichever team gets the most likes, I will buy that t-shirt, Amazon Prime it, overnight it, straight to the crib. I will wear that team's t-shirt for next week's episode for the season opener episode of the Swank Tank. You'll see, I'll wear it the whole episode. I'll wear it live. Let's just call it the Colts. We'll call it the Colts, even though I very much do not want it to be the Colts. Colts gets the most likes in the comment section. I'll overnight that t-shirt, Amazon Prime that thing here, and I'll pop that thing on for the first regular season episode of the Swank Tank, which will be out next Thursday, of course, and I'll wear it. So I want you to show your fandom. I want to see who everybody is backing this year and what team is got the most support and maybe the most popular in my comment section. So I'm going to comment all 32 teams. You go and like your team's comment, and whichever teams get the most comments, I'm buying their shirt and wearing it for the week 1 regular season episode next Thursday. So that's something fun we're going to be doing. Go and look for that. I'll be posting that probably later today if you're listening on Thursday. Coming out Thursday, I'll pin it. I'll promote it. Go and like the comment that has your team on it. Support your team. Want to see the fandoms out there, and I will wear that shirt for the first episode of the regular season next week on the Swank Tank. So stay on the lookout for that. If it's already out when you're listening, go and check it out and go and like your team's comment and show your fandom. And let me wear your team. Let me wear your team. Please do not be an AFC South team. Please, please, please. But go and check that out. All right, moving into our big time segment here this morning on the Swank Tank. I'm ranking every team from Team 32, who I think is going to be the worst team this season, to Team number 1, who I think will be the best team this season. That does not mean that team will win the Super Bowl. I just think starting the year, they are the best team. And I think they could even finish the regular season as the best team. And I think they have a great chance to win it. That does not mean I'm picking that team to win it. I'm just saying right now, I think it's the best team. And they could win the Super Bowl. They could finish the regular season with the best record. That is just what I'm just laying down the ground rules here. 32 is who I think is the worst team starting the year, who could finish the year as the worst team. And number 1 is who I think is starting the year as the best team, who could win the Super Bowl and who could finish the regular season with the best record. Let's get straight into it. 32. Man, this is tough. I got to go the Buffalo. I'm totally kidding. Did you think I was really going to say the Buffalo Bills there? Whoever thought, I got you. Sorry. I had to do it to you. The New Orleans Saints are my team to finish last this year. They're tanking for Arch Manning, and I don't even know if Arch Manning's going to come out of college this year for my Horns. I think he's probably going to stay one more year. They announced the starter to be Spencer Rattler. How do you announce that and expect to win more than 3 games? Maybe 4 if we're being nice. I got the Saints as the worst team in the NFL. There's a lot of chaos over there. I like Kellen Moore, honestly, for them, given time. But Spencer Rattler starting, I'm just not a lot of good going on over there. I got the Saints being the worst team in the NFL this year. 31, the Cleveland Browns. Don't think this is a shocker to many. The NFL this year, and I'll preface with this also, the NFL this year is so balanced, especially in the middle, where my team number 22 could beat my team number 12 or 9 or really 7 on any given day. That's the NFL. Any team can beat anybody on any given day. Yet I feel like the NFL this year is so balanced. You have these 3, 4, 5 teams that are supposed to be bad. You have these 2, 3 teams that are supposed to be elite. And you've got these other 20 to 25 teams that can all mesh together, that can go anywhere from 6-11 to 14-3. Like, they really could, in my eyes. So the NFL this year is so balanced. Making this list was very challenging. That being said, the Browns come in at 31 because I expect nothing from them. Their roster is probably the worst in the NFL, if not second worst. Flacco's the starter. The wide receiver 1, Judy. They got Tillman. They got Njoku. They got Judkins. I'm not loving anything the Browns are doing. They have Myles Garrett. They're in a very hard division. The Browns come in at 31 for me. 30, I have a team not moving far from where they were last year as well. Tennessee. I like Cam Ward a lot. Let me say that. I think he will be a very good quarterback in the NFL. Year 2 under Brian Callahan, I just don't love this roster. I don't. I like the fact they brought in a veteran presence in Tyler Lockett. There's just not a lot to be excited about outside of Cam Ward showing great flashes in year one. There's so many pieces away. You got Spears, who's out with the first 4 games, who's been a consistent back for them, kind of a 1-2 punch with Pollard. You got Pollard, you got Ridley, you got Lockett. I'm just not big on this team. The defense is not going to be great. There's just not a lot to love. In a season where a lot of teams are really consistent and really solid, the Titans are not one of them. So I expect Cam Ward to have flashes. I expect him long-term to be a very good quarterback. They come in at 30. 29, I got the Giants. It's going to be a quarterback carousel this year. Again, there's not a lot to love here. Neighbors is fantastic. Don't love the running back room. Outside of Neighbors, that offense is not going to be great. I think they start Dart at some point, and I think they just kind of say, hey, you're the starter moving forward. I expect to see all 3 quarterbacks this year at some point in some capacity. Tracy, to me, is very mediocre. Theo Johnson is fine. There's just not a lot to love here outside of Neighbors. And their defense should be good from a defensive line perspective. Let me clarify there. I mean, you're in a division with the Cowboys, Eagles, and Commanders. They could go 0-6 in their division this year. They really could. I got the Giants at 29. 28. This team was tough to put here at 28. It's the New York Jets. They have a lot of talent. Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Fields mobility as well. What worries me is Aaron Glenn in year one taking over a Jets team that last year was drama-filled, did not meet expectations, had a lot of things going on with Rodgers, and they were all over the place. Aaron Glenn in year one worries me a little bit. Justin Fields through the air worries me a lot. I had the Jets at 28. 27. This may come as a shock to some people. I've got the Miami Dolphins at 27. I'm very, very low on Miami this year. I just think they're going to come out flat. I'm really worried about their defense. Their secondary, they had a bunch of injuries already happen in the preseason and in camp. And I'm really worried about their defense. I think they could be one of the worst defenses in the NFL. Obviously on offense, can Tua stay healthy? That's the big question. If he can't, they could finish in the bottom 3 this year, in my personal opinion. They got talent with Hill, with Waddle, with A-Chain. Tua's talented. The defense really, really worries me a lot. And the health on that team worries me as well. I got the Dolphins at 27. I'm very, very low on them this year in all aspects, but especially on the defense. 26, we're going to Vegas. I got the Raiders. I really expect them to hang around in a lot of games. I think they'll be a competitive team. I just don't see them winning that many games this year. Year one with Pete Carroll. Geno is a fine quarterback. Brock Bowers is a great target, and they drafted Genti. I'm really worried about both fronts, defensively and offensively, for the Raiders this season. I think they'll be a competitive team. Given that division, Chargers, Broncos, Chiefs, 3 playoff teams from last year, they could go 0-6 in their division. It is very hard for any team to go 0-6 in their division. It's the NFL. The Raiders come in at number 26 to me. I'm worried about both fronts. Offensive line, defensive line. Obviously, they lost Wilkins to some weird stuff. Weird stuff he got into over the previous year in the offseason, apparently, in the locker room, too. I think the Raiders will be a competitive team. I just don't think they're going to be able to pull out the wins that they need to. So I have them at 26. 25. We got the Jags, man. And again, this is a season full of talented teams. The middle of the pack is so stacked. I'm not high on the Jags. Year one with Liam Cohen. Gladstone as the GM. I've touched on the Jags a lot already on the show in the past 2 weeks. I'm just not a believer in them this year. Year one under new head coach. Trevor Lawrence has to show he can take the step forward. Not so sure about that defense. I mean, they have a few good pieces over there, don't get me wrong. Year one new head coach. I need to see Trevor Lawrence take a step forward. Brian Thomas Jr. is an amazing player. The running back room kind of scares me a little bit. I got the Jags at 25. I think they'll be competitive a little bit, but similar fashion to Raiders. Can't pull out the games they need to win. 24. And I thought I'd be higher on this team than when I'm putting them out. I got the Cardinals at 24. I really think they could do better than this, but they're just going to be a little bit worse than mid, in my opinion. I love Marvin Harrison. I think he'll have a big year too. Kyler. Can Kyler take that next step forward? Can he show what we thought he fully had coming out of college? Can he maintain his health? Can he consistently push the ball down the field and utilize his mobility without getting injured, right? Marvin Harrison, James Conner's slowing down just a little bit. They got Benson, which is great. They got McBride, who's a good target. Defensively, concerned a little bit. I just think they're a little bit below mid. I mean, I got them at 24. I think they could be a little better than 24. That's where I got the Cardinals. I hope they prove me wrong. But again, the middle is so stacked this year. 23. I got the Colts. And I could see them going 8-9. So I could see them also being a little bit better than when I got them. But if they went 6-11 or 7-10, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be shocked in the slightest. Daniel Jones, Anthony Richardson, this team has potential to do great things. With Daniel Jones at the helm, their ceiling is so capped, and the potential is so limited with Daniel Jones, in my personal opinion. You got Jonathan Taylor, great player. Got, consistent guys on defense. They lost a few pieces, brought a few new guys in. Shane Steichen's fighting for his job. And you got solid 1-2 with Pittman and Downs. You can kind of be subbed in as a 1, subbed in as a 2. Kind of mixed off for 1 and 2 there. But there's just not a lot to love here. I think they could be 8-9. They could be 7-10. 7-10 would put them right around 23, honestly. Maybe 6-11. But with Daniel Jones at the helm, I just don't know. I really don't know. Uncertainty over there. I got them at 23. 22, I got the Panthers. I think they'll take big leaps and big strides this year comparative to last season. Bryce Young, Ted McMillan, you got Chuba Hubbard, you got other guys on that team. You got Leggett. Defense worries me still a little bit, and depth worries me. You got Horn at CB. They have great pieces. They have pieces there. They got Young, obviously. You can see the pieces they now have to build the franchise forward. I just don't think this is the year they fully put it together, and I think that's not a take. I have them at 22 for a reason. I do think they win 2 to 3 more games than they won last year. I got them coming in around 7-10, which I think for them would be a solid, progressive season. And I got them at 22. I think they can win 7 games. They can win 8 games, maybe. In a very mid NFC South overall. So I got them at 22, which I think, is not the worst thing. I think they take some strides this year and really progress to the franchise they're trying to build. So 21, New England. And I've been high on New England. But when you put all these teams in an order like this, New England falls at 21 for me. I see potential for New England to be a playoff team this year. I see potential for New England to sneak in with Henderson and Drake May and Stephon Diggs and other guys all over. Milton Williams signed this offseason, and you bring in Mike Vrabel, and you got McDaniels back at play caller in New England for the Patriots. I think this team could sneakily make the playoffs. Realistically speaking, I got to put them at 21. And that's around an 8-9 season. They could do it. They could. I really think they could. But I got to be a little bit more realistic here when I'm putting all these teams on paper. Excuse me. I got them at 21. 20. I have the Chicago Bears. That's around 8 wins as well in my mind. The biggest factor here is it's a very, very tough division. In year 1, I think they're going to be pretty good. And I think they're going to be damn competitive. And I think that offense will be firing at points. Year 1, Ben Johnson, again, I think they're going to be a solid team. I think they're going to be very competitive. I think the offense is going to show a lot of flashes. Year 1, I think 8 games is right around correct for them. And they're in a very challenging division. Potentially the hardest division in football. The most balanced. To me, the Bears going 8-9 seems pretty realistic. I got them at 20. 19, I got the Dallas Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are going to be so mid this year. I'll be completely honest. Defensive, A lot of worries. Michael Parsons, is he even going to play? I mean, I expect him to at some point, but they got to get him re-signed. And I'm not worried about the offense. They got weapons. They got a running back by committee. They got Jadon Blue. They brought him from UT. Prescott's healthy. Lamb, Pickens, Ferguson. I think that offense will be pretty damn good. They'll be a top 10 offense. The defense really worries me in Dallas. So, and also a tough division. I got them being very, very mid. I got them at 19. 18, I got the Steelers, completely mid. They could even be lower for me. I don't think Rodgers and crew will be able to put it together, but Mike Tomlin always finds a way to get to right around 500. Excuse me, he always gets to 500. I see them getting right around 500 yet again this year. So they're almost middle of the pack for me. I got the Steelers at 18. 17, I got the Falcons. They have potential to win the division. They have potential to be way better than where I have them. But it's been consistent years now of if for the Falcons. If Kyle Pitts can perform consistently. If Michael Penix in year 2 can take a step forward and show and solidify the franchise that he's the guy moving forward completely. And I think they absolutely have full faith in him. And I have faith in him too. Can he in year 2 show the franchise in the league that he is QB1 and he is here to be a force in this league for years to come? Bijan Robinson, top 3 running back in the NFL, in my opinion. Drake London, phenomenal player. I like their draft a lot too, who they brought in. So I think the Falcons are a team here that could definitely surpass my expectations. We're just going to have to wait and see. I got them at 17. 16, Chargers. Another team I think could surpass expectations. You got Ladd, you got Herbert. They've been the biggest if team, though. If for Justin Herbert. You've seen all the memes on social media. If Harbaugh in year 2, I like how they brought in Amarion Hampton. I like how they brought in, other pieces. Keenan Allen is brought back. And this is a talented team. Do not get me wrong. It's a talented team on both sides of the ball. Tough division, tough AFC. I got them at 16. 15, we're going Minnesota. And they could slide for me more. They could be lower, in my opinion. I'm not high on McCarthy. I am worried about J.J. McCarthy starting this year off. I believe he faces the Bears week 1. It's a tough test. Good defense. Worried him the first few games especially. I know he's got Thielen now, and Jettis is the best wide receiver in the NFL. I get that. I'm a little worried about his start. And I'm worried because Addison's not there as well. I just got to see it to believe it with McCarthy. I got them at 15. The defense is going to be damn good. Damn good. Can the offense put it together fully? 14, I got the Seahawks. Darnold, I don't know. He had a great year last year. Did not play well in the playoffs. It's just going to have to be wait and see for the Seahawks. They're a talented team with JSN and Cooper Kupp, Kenneth Walker, solid defense. It's all going to come down to how Darnold can perform. And I think he can perform well. I don't know how high his ceiling really is. I think it's capped a little bit. I got the Seahawks at 14. Rams at 13. Very similar to the Seahawks in terms of, I think their ceiling's relatively capped. Last year they had a really solid finish to the season. Made it to the divisional round. And Stafford's health worries me a little bit. They got pieces. They got Nakua. They got Adams. Kyron Williams is a very good player. He's going to get a lot of volume this year. You got Jared Verse. It's a solid team, and they're 13 for a reason. I think they make the playoffs again. But nothing screams to me that the Rams will be a top 10 team this year, and I'm a little worried about Stafford's health. That's why. 12, Green Bay Packers, and I could be a little bit higher on them in all honesty. Jacobs, bring in Matthew Golden, Jordan Love. Line is solid-ish, pretty good defense. I expect Green Bay to be a pretty big force to reckon with in the NFC this year. I think, in all honesty, they're one of my sleeper teams to go and take the NFC. And I believe in Josh Jacobs, and I believe in LaFleur. So, Packers to me are at 12. I could see them going higher as the year progresses. Number 11, I got my Texans. Can the offensive line hold up? I've been seeing a lot of things about how the line feels a lot better this year, bringing in Nick Caley from the Rams to be the new OC. And they like his scheme way better. The line is saying it fits their mold way, way better compared to last year with some zone things they were doing with Bobby Slowick. If the line can hold up, this team is so dangerous. It's a top 3 defense. Stroud in year 3 is gonna really, I think, improve comparative to what the quote people were saying about him last year. He had Swiss cheese for no line last year. Got to give him a little bit of a break there. And also, he missed Nico Collins for several games, Tank Dell for several games, and Stephon Diggs for almost the whole season. You got to give CJ Stroud a little bit of leeway here. I think Stroud's going to be better than he was last year. I think the Texans are a force to be reckoned with in the AFC. Can they surpass being mid in the regular season? Can they give themselves a shot to have a home game in the second round of the playoffs where you don't got to go to Baltimore, where you don't got to go to Kansas City, where you don't got to go to Buffalo? Give yourself a chance to play in your own building in the second round. How do you do that? You win more than 10 games in the regular season. That's the question mark for the Texans. The defense is going to be unbelievable. Can the O-line hold up? Can they surpass mid? That's where they're at. 49ers are number 10 for me. We've cracked the top 10, ladies and gentlemen. 49ers at 10. They rebound, in my eyes, from last year. Their schedule is probably the easiest in the NFL. McCaffrey looks really healthy. They're getting their pieces back they need to. They've already got some injuries. They trade for Brian Robinson, which I love. They're talented. If they stay healthy, they're a top 10 team. And that's such a big if. Let me put it to you this way. If McCaffrey can stay healthy, they'll finish in the top 10. The schedule is going to allow them to do that, and McCaffrey's going to have a big year in my eyes. When they get Ayuk back, this team's dangerous. They're dangerous. Under Shanahan, they can do anything. So I got the Niners at 10. Commanders are coming at 9. Can they put the pieces together? Touched on this earlier. Extended McLaurin, Bring in Tunsil. Bring in Samuel. Bring in some other big names as well. They are so talented on paper. Daniels in year 2. Ertz. They are so damn talented. Can they just put it all together? Can Dan Quinn put it together fully? I think he can. Why couldn't the Commanders go and take the NFC? Why couldn't the Commanders be in the Super Bowl? They definitely could. Can they put it together? Number 8. I'm high on the Buccaneers this year. I really am. My nose is itching over here. Sorry. I'm high on the Bucs. I think even though they lose Liam Cohen to the Jags, I'm still high on that Buccaneers offense. And they promoted their passing game coordinator, which is great. People are low-ish on Baker compared to last year. I'm not. They bring in Egbuka. Chris Godwin already passed his physical. You're telling me a wide receiver room of Mike Evans, Emeka Egbuka, and Chris Godwin, Baker Mayfield's not going to have a good year? Bucky Irving, Rashad White, he's got weapons all over the damn field. I think Baker's, hear me out here, there's a chance Baker cracks top 5 in fantasy this year in quarterbacks. I said it. His weapons are going to be phenomenal. I like the Bucs a lot this year. They're very solid. I have them at number 8. Number 7, I got the Lions. Last year, they were in my top 3. They might have even been my 1. Little worried about Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn leaving. That's where the real issue comes in, and that's about it. They've got great depth. They've got insane talent. Goff, Gibbs, Montgomery, Amon-Ra, Williams, Branch, Hutchinson coming back. I mean, they've got it all. They really do. They can win the Super Bowl. I've got them at 7 because I need to see out the gate how they look with losing their OC and DC. Lions at 7. 6, I've got the Bengals. They're so damn talented on offense. This could be the best offense in the NFL. 100%. It could. It very much could. Chase, Higgins, Burrow, Chase Brown. I mean, this is just such a talented offense. They could blow the roof off anybody. Joe Burrow could be MVP this year, 1,000%. Offensive line needs to stay healthy. I mean, they could be the number 1 offense in the NFL. That's why I got them at 6. Their defense, can they just hold on? Can the defense not give up 30 a game? Because the offense will probably be scoring that. I got the Bengals at 6. They're explosive. They're looking for revenge over the previous few seasons. Burrow's going to stay healthy, hopefully. I got the Bengals at 6. Damn good. 5. The Denver Broncos have cracked my top 5. And here's why. Sean Payton in year 2, love it. That defense, top 3, 100%, hands down. Draft Jahdae Barron, super talented CB. You already got Pat Surtain, other weapons on the defense. Offensively, you bring in RJ Harvey. You bring in J.K. Dobbins. Great 1-2 punch. Cortland Sutton, one of the most slept on receivers and players in the NFL, in my personal opinion. You bring in Evan Ingram, who I'm very, very high on. Talked about him last week. Very high on Evan Ingram in this system. Bo Nix in year 2. I think the Broncos have a very high ceiling. Extremely high. Tough division. Talent's there on both sides of the ball. They could be top 10 on offense, they'll be top 3 on defense. I really think they could. In a Sean Payton system with Evan Ingram being brought in. And Harvey. I'm high on the Broncos. I got them at 5. 4, Buffalo. Don't really need to touch on them too much. Josh Allen. Enough said. A little worried about the defense. Their first-round pick, CB, out of Kentucky, already got a little dinged up. A little worried about... I know Tre'Davious White's back. At least I believe he is. A little worried about the defense a little bit. They bring in Bosa in the offseason. Let's see how much gas he's really got left. Just a little worried. But I have them at 4 because Josh Allen's so damn talented. Keon Coleman I like a lot this year. And Cook is obviously fantastic. Got a good duo at tight end. It's Josh Allen. Bills at 4. 3, Chiefs. That's where they start for me at 3. Rashee Rice missing the first 6 games worries me just a little bit. The offensive line worries me just slightly. That being said, they're going to win 14 games. They're going to go 14-3. We all know it. Mahomes stays healthy. They're going to win 14 games. Plain and simple. I got them at 3. 2. The reigning Super Bowl champs for me coming at 2. I got the Eagles. Barkley, Hurts, Smith. All they did was load up. They reloaded. That's all they did was reload. And it was really hard for me to not put them at 1. They could absolutely be the number 1. In all honesty, they probably should be number 1. Some people are thinking they'll regress a little bit. Their schedule's a little bit challenging. I'm not one of those people that thinks they'll regress. I have them at 2. They could definitely be 1. But shifting right over to number 1, I got the Ravens. Ravens are my number 1 team entering this season. They are so dynamic and stacked at every position. They're very much similar to the Eagles, except the Eagles have that clutch gene now, it seems. The Eagles have a proven track record of playoff success now. Lamar Jackson. You got solid, just consistency all over the offense. Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews. You bring in D-Hop, which is great. Derrick Henry's going to run for 1,000 yards. Defensively, Kyle Hamilton just got the extension. I like Starks, who they drafted out of Georgia, who could have gone way higher in the draft. I mean, they are just so damn good at every position you look at. They're so deep. And Lamar Jackson could have another MVP year. And I got the Ravens starting the year as the best team in the NFL. And it could be the Eagles very much. They could be traded off as 1 and 2 easily to me. I have the Ravens coming in at number 1. That is my 32-1 power rankings to start the year. Just best team to worst team starting the season. Could they finish that way? Absolutely. Could the one win the Super Bowl? Could the Saints be the worst team? 100% by the end of the year. That's my 32-1. Let me know what you think on YouTube or on Spotify. Comment. Let me know what you think. Who's your favorite team? Who do you think is going to be the worst team? You let me know in the comments. All right. Again, let me know what you thought of my 32-1 power ranking starting this year. A few teams I feel like could definitely be moved around in a wide variety. You know, I feel like the Vikings to me could fall. The Chargers could be higher. The Commanders could slightly fall, in all honesty. The Packers could be higher. A lot of volatility could happen here. It's going to be a damn good season because everyone, that middle pack, there's so many competitive teams this year that it's so hard to rank them. There's a really bottom tier, and there's a very thin high tier. Outside of that, everybody is relatively in the same pack. So let me know what you think about that. Let's jump straight to Remember When. It's going to be a quick one, just rounding out the episode here. Do you remember Brandon Stokely in 2009? Season opener. Stokely down the sideline. Gus Johnson, man. I love Gus Johnson. I'm so glad I'll be hearing him again soon. Gus is the man. Broncos season opener in 2009, 28 seconds to play, 87-yard touchdown, Brandon Stokely to beat the Bengals. Ball gets tipped up in the air. Where is it? Oh my gosh. Right into Stokely's arms. Down the sideline to win the game. Don't know why that's today's Remember When, but it is because it's a damn good play. One of the craziest plays in NFL history, honestly, for regular season. Stokely, just the call. Gus Johnson gets too much shade. He got too much shade last year. I'm big on Gus Johnson. Stokely down the sideline, elite call. 2009, what a time to be alive, man, to watch that play. 2009. I was only 7 years old, but people love 2009. I just know it. Partially because Brandon Stokely. That's why. Swanks Banks, we got wrapping up the show here. This is going to be big next week, starting next week, of course. We went 3-0 in preseason, though, so we are 100%. Ladies and gentlemen, we are 100% on the season so far. What I want to bring up, again, next week we're diving into this fully. Thursday Night Football, my picks for that, over-unders. Can't wait for the regular season to get started. It's going to be a big segment. For now, Eagles open up as -6.5 a week from today on Thursday Night Football. Over under 46.5. I want to know your personal thoughts. Think to yourself, will the Eagles win by a touchdown? Will the Cowboys cover 6.5? Eagles money line here is obviously the play. Given they're -6.5, meaning they're favored by 6.5 points, they're probably like -140-ish, 145, 150 maybe, give or take. Maybe 130, somewhere between 130 and 150. Eagles money line's the play here if you want to play it safe. -6.5. We'll see for next week because I'll give you that next week along with the over-under. I just want to know your thoughts. I want you to think about that. Let that marinate because we are officially 1 week away. Let that marinate. Let me know where you have that bet for that game coming up here in 1 week. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the show for this evening. I appreciate you tuning in. Think about Eagles Cowboys a week from today if you're listening or watching on Thursday. We're so damn close. I appreciate you always for tuning in. Make sure to go follow all the socials at the Swank Tank, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Really pushing out some great content. Go and check out the fan video. If you want me to wear your team's t-shirt, go and like the comment on your team. Go and check that out. Appreciate everybody for listening, tuning in. We'll be back on Monday. And when that happens, Monday is Labor Day. We will see if we have a show. Believe we will. But if not, the regular season is upon us. We are basically here. Appreciate you all tuning in. Have a great rest of your day. And we will see you very soon.